Yo, let me ask you something. When you think of Africa, what's the first image that comes to mind? For a lot of people, especially in America and Europe, they think mud earths, animals everywhere, people living in trees, poverty, starvation, disease. And if that's what you thought, you're not alone.
What is the poorest country in the world?
Africa.
That's wrong. What is the poorest country in the world?
Africa.
That's wrong. What is the poorest country in the world?
Africa.
That is wrong. What is the poorest country in the world?
Probably Africa.
That's wrong.
Because that's what the media has been showing you for decades. But here's the thing, that's not Africa. Well, it's not the whole story of Africa. And recently someone finally showed the world what Africa really looks like. I'm talking about iShowSpeed, the same guy who streams at videos game and does crazy stuff on stream.
Yo, Chad, why this game so fun, Chad?
Yeah, him, I'm talking about him. He just did something that American schools, documentaries, and new channels have failed to do for years. And he showed people the real Africa.
Oh my goodness!
And the reactions, people were shocked. Some were even crying, because they realized they had been lied to their whole lives. So today I'm breaking this down, how the media created a false image of Africa, how iShowSpeed destroyed that image, and why this matters more than you think. Let's talk about it. Alright, let's start with the elephant in the room. The image of Africa that most people have is completely wrong. And I'm not just talking about people being misinformed, I'm talking about deliberate propaganda. Think about it. Every time you see a documentary about Africa, what do they show? Remote villages, mud huts, kids with flies on their face. Sorry.
We begin our study on Mama Sabrine, a mother of 74 children.
I said 7, not 74.
At dawn, she begins her morning jungle ritual, casting spells on distant neighbors.
I'm making pasta, Italian pasta for my children.
Sabrine, can we just put a little bit of makeup on your face,
I'm
please?
gonna put makeup on my face. Okay.
There is your makeup.
This is baby powder. I study medicine.
Medicine, she claims, yet she specializes in ritualistic breakfast preparation.
What would I tell the world about Africa? I would tell them that Africa is amazing. We have nature. Don't listen to the propaganda.
What she fails to mention is that every morning she argues with her children over who gets air, wrestles the socks into submission, and makes the fridge obey her commands.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
The melodies rise, whispered chants of her ancestors beseeching the spirits.
Are you mad? I'm singing a Christmas song. All my family are here, so I love living in Africa.
She says she's the last man standing after the cannibalistic ritual of her eating her family members.
The thing is, it is not even funny, but it's ridiculous for me. But they show you kids with flies on their face, wild animals, poverty, and I'm not saying those places don't exist. They do. But here's the problem. That's not the full story, because Africa is a continent, 54 countries, over 1.4 billion people, thousands of languages, diverse cultures. But the media, they act like the entire continent is just one big village. You know what I'm saying? And here's what really bothers me. They only show the poorest, most isolated communities. And you know why? Because poverty sells. Pity sells. It makes Western audiences feel good, feel good about themselves. They need to save, quote unquote, save Africa, but showing modern Africa cities, showing innovations, technology, wealth, that doesn't fit the narrative at all. And let me tell you something else. Poverty, that exists everywhere too. The United States has 10 cities in Los Angeles. France has people living on the streets in Paris. The UK has extreme poverty in parts of London. But nobody uses those images to define those entire countries. So why do they do it with Africa? Why? Because the media is a tool, a tool to shape perception, to control narratives, to influence how we think. And for decades, the narrative about Africa has been poor, uncivilized, needs saving. And I even saw an interview where a French journalist told that African people should be proud of being colonized by them because now they can speak. And I was like, oh, do you really think that when an African wanted to say something, he was like, because they were able to communicate? What do you think? Before colonization, there was civilization, an economy. They were working together. Okay? Hopefully that narrative is starting to crack, and a big part of that is because of iShowSpeed and most of African influencers and people who show the real image of Africa. So let's talk about what iShowSpeed actually did. In late 2024 and early 2025, Speed went on a tour of Africa. He visited multiple countries. He streamed everything live to millions of people. And what did he show? Modern cities, skyscrapers, technology, beautiful landscapes, thriving businesses. He showed people dancing, laughing, celebrating. He showed stadiums packed with fans screaming his name. He showed African hospitality, people welcoming him with open arms, and people watching, they couldn't believe it. Americans were literally crying in the comments. Wait, Africa looked like this? I had no idea Africa had cities like that.
Man, this whole time, bro, they made us fucking think Africa was such a poor country, bro. Such a place you wouldn't want to be at, bro. And Speed is single-handedly changing my perspective on life. Like the music in Africa, the culture, everything, every single aspect of Africa just makes my insides feel so good, bro. And it makes me just want to leave America. Bro, I feel like America is the trap.
Speed wasn't even trying to make a political statement. No, he was just being himself, streaming, having fun. But by doing that, by showing Africa as it actually is, he destroyed years of propaganda. And he hit 47 million subscribers while in Africa. Think about that. A place that the media thought you was poor and uncivilized helped him reach one of the biggest milestones of his career. Think about that. Now, this isn't the first time social media has destroyed stereotypes like this, Actually, I talk about this exact thing in another video. When Tyla went to India for a concert, the same thing happened. To sum up, for years, TikTok and social media had been showing India as dirty, unsanitary, poor street food compilation that looked, disgusting, clickbait videos focusing on poverty. And people thought, oh, that's what all of India is like. But then Tyla performed in Mumbai and people saw modern cities, beautiful venues, fashion, technology, wealth. And just like with iShowSpeed in Africa, Americans were shocked. So if you want to see the full breakdown, click the card above. I will link it maybe here or here, I don't know. But the point is, this is a pattern. The media creates a false image of non-Western countries. And then when people actually go there and show the truth, everyone's mind is blown. Like, that shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't be shocked that other countries have modern cities. We shouldn't be surprised that people in Africa and India live normal, thriving lives, but we are shocked because we have been lied to. So let's talk about why this happens. Why does the media only show poverty when they talk about Africa? Why do they focus on the worst parts and ignore the progress? Because it serves a purpose. If Western countries can convince the citizens that Africa is uncivilized and poor, then they can justify a lot of things, foreign aid that never actually helps, exploitation of resources, and political interference. We need to save them. That's the narrative. But you can't save people who are doing just fine.
We give them aid. Aid for what? Actually, we give them aid to keep repressive regimes in power. All the hypocrisy about transparency and democracy and bullshit like that, it's all bullshit. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. Okay, but this is the opposition that they're fighting. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe and North America and Asia is going to fall. Okay? And that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay, so this is what it's fundamentally about.
So they don't show you the parts of Africa that are thriving. They don't show you Lagos, Nigeria, one of the fastest growing tech hubs in the world. Nairobi, Kenya, a city full of innovation and entrepreneurship. Accra, Ghana, modern infrastructure, thriving culture. Cape Town, South Africa, one of the most beautiful cities on earth. On earth. They don't show you African engineers, doctors, artists, entrepreneurs. They don't show you the middle class, the wealth, the progress. They don't. Fortunately, iShowSpeed didn't care about the narrative. He just showed what he saw, and that changed everything. So what does this all mean? First, the media is not your friend. They don't exist to inform you, no. They exist to shape your perception. And if you're not questioning what you see, you are being manipulated.
Some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias, and agenda to control exactly what people think. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Second, social media is more powerful than traditional media now. Because iShowSpeed with a phone and a stream did more to change people's perception of Africa than decades of documentaries. That's insane. And third, representation matters. When people see Africa as it actually is, not through the lens of poverty porn, they start to respect it. They start to see Africans as equals, as innovators, as leaders, not as people who need saving. And that's powerful. Look, Africa is not monolithic. It is not all poverty. It is not all wealth either. It is diverse, just like every other continent. But for too long, the media has tried to make you think otherwise. They have tried to convince you that Africa is stuck in the past, that it is hopeless, that it needs rescuing. But iShowSpeed, just by being himself, showed millions of people the truth. And now, people are waking up. Shout out to iShowSpeed. So here's my challenge for you. The next time you see a new story, a documentary, a viral video, ask questions. Who's telling the story? What are they leaving out? What do they want me to believe? Because the media is powerful, but you have the power to think by yourself. Alright, that is for today. If you learned something, hit the like button. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. And if you want to see more content like this, breaking down stereotypes, analyzing media narrative, subscribe please. I do a lot of things on my channel, So give me the strength. Please subscribe and like and follow and share. And I don't know everything. Just do everything that it needs for the channel to be known. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the comments. And I hope you will have a great day. Take care of you. Peace.